I remember one week when I had had a very, very busy time. And at the end of the week, I went to write in my journal. And one of the journal prompts was, "What did you accomplish this week?" I couldn't remember. I thought, this is crazy. I worked so hard and I can't remember what I accomplished. And that time was gone, but I couldn't remember what I had done with it. Now, this was a long time ago, and it does not happen to me anymore because now I know exactly where my time went. What I did was, I thought there had to be a solution for this problem of forgetting what I've accomplished. And I remembered that my mom had a habit of writing down the time it took her to do projects. So maybe a quilting project or embroidery or some kind of craft project, or sometimes a computer project. She would keep track of how long it took. Now, it wasn't so that she could turn it in and get paid for it. It was just a habit she had because she wanted to know how long it took. And I thought, there's something there. So I started doing that myself. I started tracking my time. And now I know exactly where my time is going. If you don't track your money, it will disappear. We have all found this to be true. We just get to the end of the month and we wonder, oh, I had a big paycheck. Where did it all go? And if we don't know, it's because we didn't track what we spent it on. And it's the exact same thing with our time. If we don't track where it went, it's just going to disappear and we will have no idea what happened to it. So today I want to talk about 4 benefits of tracking your time. The first benefit is awareness. And like that story I just told you, when you track your time, it helps you to know exactly what you've accomplished. You're no longer going to be wondering. And being aware of how you've spent your time because you're tracking it, that's going to keep you moving forward toward your goals. So you'll know what point you're at. Say you have a very large goal, you'll know if you're 30% done or 60% done. You'll know what you have to do to move forward. The other thing about being aware of how you've spent your time is that it reminds you to celebrate your accomplishments. So instead of just always working and never taking time to appreciate what you've done, you can actually stop and celebrate because you'll see, look, I've accomplished this. It's there written down in your time tracker. It makes you feel productive. The other important thing about being aware of how you've used your time, it provides data so that the next time you have to do a similar project, you can better estimate the time that's needed. Sometimes we're too optimistic and we think that we can do things faster than we actually can. And so if you track your time, you're going to have that information so that you know exactly how long it usually takes to do that type of project. And you won't get caught running out of time because you've allowed enough time for it. The second benefit of tracking your time is balance. Having a time tracker can help you make sure you're working the right number of hours a week. I think some people don't realize that they're overworking, that they're being a workaholic. And if they actually wrote down the time that they spent working, they would probably see that they're working too much. And so this has happened to me. I found myself working 60 to 70 hours a week when I was doing my doctoral studies, and it was too much. I knew I was burning out. And so I used my time tracker to make sure that I realized how many hours a week I was working, and I was able to scale it back to something more reasonable. I would force myself because every day I would say, oh, if I work 10 hours today, then tomorrow I should only work 6 because I think 8's a reasonable number of hours. And so having that information right in front of me in my time tracker helped me to scale back my working hours to what was more realistic. And so there might be a time where you feel like you didn't work enough. Maybe you were distracted or maybe you got lazy, and you could use your time tracker to actually expand your number of working hours to a reasonable amount. you would look at the end of the day and say, oh my goodness, I only worked 4 hours. What happened? I must have let myself get distracted by something that wasn't important. So you can use that to help you stay on track. The other thing is that when we're talking about balance in tracking our time, it can help you make sure you're giving enough time to your various priorities and roles. And so I have used this myself in my nonprofit translation work. I found that although it's very important to me, it's my passion, it was getting squeezed out by other things that I had to do or thought I had to do. And so using my time tracker and identifying how much time I'm spending in each role, that has helped me to over time increase the amount of time that I'm giving to my nonprofit translation work because it's important to me and I want my time to reflect that. So having a time tracker helps you achieve balance because you can redirect time when you see that your roles are out of balance. When you're spending too much time on one part of your work and you should be spending more on another part, this can really help. The third benefit of tracking your time is focus. Now, I have found that having a time tracker in front of me every day pushes me to do something important with each hour because I know I'm going to be writing down how I spent that hour. I've developed this habit of accountability to myself, keeping a time tracker. And so I don't want to have a blank spot there because if I look at it later, I'm going to say, well, what did I do during that time? Did I just sit and stare at the screen, or did I wander around the house, or did I get distracted by social media? What happened there? Why is there a blank? And so my goal is that I have at the end of the day a complete time tracker. Obviously take breaks and stop to eat, but I'm trying to keep my work day to 8 hours if possible. And so if I have 8 hours filled in, it's time to stop working. So that is something that I've found is really important. It helps me to focus. And I know that if I can get my 8 hours accomplished, then my workday will be done. And so it keeps me from wasting time on unimportant things. There are lots of distractions. And if you're working on a computer, there are many, many distractions. And so one of the things that I've found is I have to eliminate notifications that pop up or sounds or anything like that. Because if I'm trying to concentrate on a project and I hear all these plings and blings and things popping up, it's very difficult. But having that time tracker there keeps me accountable. It keeps me motivated because I know that if I will carefully focus my time and track it, I am going to steadily make progress towards my important goals. The fourth benefit of tracking your time is what I'd like to call downtime. So as I previously mentioned, if I've completed my work hours for the day, it's time to stop working. And you know what? I can do that guilt-free because I know I've had a productive day. How do I know? Because I look at my time tracker and I see that I spent a certain number of hours on this project or this role and that I've completed what I had budgeted in my time to do that day. So I don't feel like I need to work in the evening. And when you've completed the tasks in your time budget for the day, when you've tracked them, you can relax guilt-free. You're not going to feel pressured to work in the evening. And so I find that if I can keep my work week Monday to Friday, it's ideal. That doesn't always happen, but it's my goal. Because I like to have Saturday to just kind of putter around the house and do little projects or, whatever I want. I don't feel the need to budget my time on Saturdays if I did it during the week and I accomplished my work week. Then on Saturday, I can just take a more laid back approach, and it's a way to give my mind and body a chance to relax. And also it gives me time to spend time with people without feeling that pressure in the back of my mind that, oh, I should be working because I didn't finish this, didn't finish that. Having that time tracker, budgeting my time, and then tracking it to make sure I'm making progress, I can just set it aside when the workday is done. It's like, I have time scheduled next week to finish that project. There's no reason for me to think about it right now. I can relax and truly be present with the important people in my life. So we've talked about the 4 benefits of tracking your time: awareness, balance, focus, and downtime. And so when we talk about tracking our time, it just means you're going to use something like an appointment calendar, and you're going to write down the time you start a project, then how long it took, and just a brief description of what it is. And that way, at the end of the day, you're going to have this information about what you accomplished. It will help you estimate time for future projects. And we'll be talking more about time tracking in other videos, but I just wanted to recap the benefits of it in this video. So a question for you: do you have a system for tracking your time? Feel free to comment below. Do you have a system for tracking your time? Also, make sure that you click on the subscribe button so that you can find out about other videos in this series.